I would like to say thank you so much, Chanel, for raising your prices. You have saved me a ton of money. Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, hello, my name is Dani. Welcome to my handbag channel where I love talking about luxury handbags, contemporary brand handbags, and any beautiful handbags that I may be obsessed about in this world. If you love handbags too, certainly do subscribe and turn on notifications. That way I'll have you back in all of my videos. I'm also really trying to grow my channel. So if you do subscribe and add to my subscriber count, I would so appreciate it. Here is a video to talk about all the Chanel handbags that I was obsessed about, and I really had my mind set on buying them, but I have ended up not buying them because of the price increases and the quality issues that have been going on with Chanel. Let's have a chat about them because it might take you down memory lane a little bit. The first bag I'm going to talk about is the Business Affinity. Oh, I still look at the bag and think it is such a practical and beautiful bag. Isn't it cute? It's like a flat bag. It has a top handle. You can wear it crossbody, and it has a front pocket where, I can put my phone in. But, as I learned more about it, it turned out that sometimes the bag can be a little bit noisy where the zippers clang against each other when you walk, but that wasn't something that was going to stop me. One of my subscribers, I can't remember, like a long time ago, we were having an exchange and she said, "Why do you want the Business Affinity? Do you know that it's a problematic bag because it falls forward when it's empty?" And I can imagine why that would happen because it kind of happens to my classic flap. So my classic flap, when you put it down, you have to make sure that the chains are behind the bag because the weight of the chain straps plus the flap causes it to face plant, especially if it's empty. So with the Business Affinity, that's more or less reasonable to expect as well, in a sense that it's got that front pocket as well that will weigh it down. And I guess the problem is they should have, design wise, lowered the bottom of the pocket a little bit to be flush with the bottom of the bag, in which case it would provide a little bit of support, isn't it? It would widen the footprint of the bag and therefore make it a little bit more stable. I do feel like it is the responsibility of the luxury houses to make sure that their bags are stable, because it's so not elegant to have your luxury handbag falling over, face planting all the time. And this is something I talked about when I reviewed my Birkin 25. Something really elegant about Hermes handbags is that they're actually balanced really well. I think I'm showing how much of a physics nerd I am. But there's something so appealing about a bag that you just put down and it's stable and it does not go anywhere. So this is why I never bought the Business Affinity. Thank you, Chanel. The Coco Handle was the other bag that was on my wish list for the longest time. I still look at the Coco Handle now and think of how beautiful it is. It was one of the first bags from Chanel that I almost bought from boutique because I think I had purchased the Walk already by that time and potentially my vintage rectangular mini secondhand, but I really wanted to buy the Coco Handle, especially, I think the one that I wanted was in a small size. Or the mini, I can't remember, but I'll put a picture up. I think that is just such a beautiful, such an elegant bag as well. When I was looking at it, I still remember it was 2020, immediately before the pandemic, and I was ready to purchase either the Chanel Coco Handle or the Lady Dior. And I was traveling to Melbourne at the time, so that was my opportunity. I had my funds saved up. I was also considering the Chanel Classic Flap. In the end, what I purchased was actually my Lady Dior, and I still have her in my collection. But the issue with the Coco Handle, people initially were saying things like, because that handle is stiff, it pokes against your ribs, and sometimes it can get in the way when you're trying to open up the flap. The top handle actually pokes into you and you got to pull the bag away from your body in order to access it. So I hesitated a little bit about the bag. In any case, when I went to Melbourne at the time and I went into Chanel, there was a Coco Handle for me to try, the one in the size that I was interested in. And when I tried it on, it was just perfect. The drop length was great. I could wear it long shoulder or crossbody because I'm a very short, petite person. It fitted really well. And I tried opening it, it didn't bother me. But somehow I left the Coco Handle and went ahead and purchased the Lady Dior. And I think my rationale behind that was because that the Lady Dior was a classic and it was timeless. So at the time I decided just to go ahead and purchase the Lady Dior. But at that point, I still had my mindset on maybe adding the Coco Handle to my collection. What happened? So obviously the price increases happened. Chanel did a couple of upgrades, including making the interior of the bag lined with leather instead of textile. But what really stopped me was all these reviews that was specifically done by Fabulous Irene. And Fabulous Irene, she does amazing handbag reviews. And she made a list of things that you had to look out for when you were purchasing the Coco handle. Sometimes the top handle can be slanted forward, and it shouldn't. It should be standing upright. And also you can get a lot of corner wear as well because the corners were really sharp. In the end, what really impeded me was the price increases, but it's good to know, I guess reassuring for me to know that I have missed out on a handbag that could potentially be very problematic. So thank you again, Chanel. The Gabrielle bag. That time I was really consuming a lot of Fashionably Amy's videos, and I still watch her videos, but that time she talked so much about her Gabrielle bag, and it looks like such an edgy bag. And Amy really loved her Gabrielle bag. She had two. She had a black one and a burgundy one as well. I loved how the Gabrielle bag looked in a sense that there was really nothing like it on the market. Nothing from the other luxury houses anyway. There were other brands that had very similar designs. I think MCM did have a bag inspired by the Gabrielle as well. And I loved how edgy it looked. It looked really different. That time I really appreciated the crinkled leather, or the, gosh, I can't remember what those leathers are called anymore. The one that the reissue bags have. The Gabrielle had the same one, and it had all these chains, and you could wear it in so many ways. And it was a bag that was designed by Karl Lagerfeld, may he rest in peace. And it was just something really unique. Yeah, so I was drawn to it for that reason. I'm glad I didn't buy it, because depending on which size you buy, sometimes what can happen is the structure of the bag could collapse upon itself, especially I think in the medium sizes. But Amy had the small size, so hers was structurally intact. And I think she does actually treat her bags really well. She denies it, but I think she actually does treat her bags really well. And that's why, compared to a lot of the other ones on the pre-loved market, her bags were usually in really good condition. And the other issue was also that the zipper opening was really tight. So that time I was really infatuated by the bag that I was still willing to look past that. But I've tried out a number of handbags already that have zipper openings that I'm pretty sure are less tight than the Gabrielle bag. The one that I'm thinking of is my Marc Jacobs Softbox 23. No, my Marc Jacobs Softbox 20. And that bag, I was feeling every scratch when I went in to take something out. It wasn't bad, but I do have quite sensitive skin on my hands. It was bugging me. So glad I delayed purchasing the Gabrielle bag, and I tried other bags in the meantime, and I became really aware of how annoying it would be to have zippers constantly biting at my hands. So thank you, Chanel. I saved another number of thousands of dollars. The other bag that I was really obsessed about as well, again influenced by Fashionably Amy, was the Chanel bucket bag. So cute. I just loved how it looked. That time I was obsessed about bucket bags. I do have the Louis Vuitton Neo Noe in the BB size, and I enjoyed at that time, how it was open and easy to access things. Now that I've experienced bucket bags that stay open, I've learned that no, similar to the Chanel Gabrielle, and learning that, tight zippers are really not my thing. I also learned that really big openings that don't secure my belongings inside make me kind of anxious, and learned that from my Louis Vuitton Neo Noe. So I'm glad I did not purchase the bag. I still think it looks super cute. And again, the price increases. I'm like, no, not going there. So thank you again, Chanel, for saving me so much money. The Chanel 19. When I first saw the Chanel 19, I thought it was such an ugly bag, I'll be honest. I hated the big quilts. Oh, I hated it so much. And well, the Chanel 19 bug came to bite me. I saw it around enough and I fell in love with how it looked. And everyone who owned the bag was so crazy about it. Except there was one review that I saw of it. And I can't remember. I don't even know whether she's still on YouTube anymore. But because she's quite a petite girl, she was saying that when she carried the Chanel 19 on her shoulder, because the leather panel was quite narrow, like it wasn't particularly long. There were times when she wore it crossbody, she would feel the weight of the bag and the chains pressing on her collarbone. So for that reason, she didn't always enjoy it. She might have kept it and started using it just with winter coats. I'm not really sure. So although I love the bag, the main thing that stopped me from buying the bag was actually that chain that was not detachable and not adjustable. And it was too long. I knew that from watching all these reviews. It was too long for me, especially. I'm very short. I'm only 5 foot or 152 centimeters. And on top of that, I like wearing my bags really high. I like my bags to start around my waist, and I don't want them to be touching the top of my leg when I walk. And I tried it on in store as well. It was so pretty, but I didn't buy it. And in the end, what stopped me was the price increases. And I'm glad I did not buy the Chanel 19 because, yeah, I don't buy Chanel anymore. I think that's the topic of this video. I've broken up with Chanel, sort of. Chanel is like this toxic boyfriend, isn't it? Their prices are so high, their customer service seems to be deteriorating, or that's what's been documented on YouTube quite a lot anyway. And then there are quality issues, but they do keep releasing bags that are very pretty. I mean, what is the alternative? To be honest, I know the alternative. We go ahead and buy similar looking bags, and we know there are lots of these bags floating around on the market. And, they're not necessarily designer handbags, but they're bags that look similar. They might be found on Etsy, and they haven't got the Chanel logo. Now, this bag absolutely saved me a lot of money, undoubtedly. Now, I know I did buy the Chanel Classic Flap. I did buy it pre-loved, but I'm not talking about the Chanel Classic Flap because the bag that I have not bought from Chanel, and I'm glad I didn't buy, is the Chanel reissue. I'll be honest, I still think that bag is very beautiful. I love that it has the bijou chain instead of the interwoven leather. I love the look of it. And of course, I also love the crinkled leather, and I love that the Chanel logo is not so big. So it's somewhat a little bit more subtle. And with that leather, I don't have to worry about it getting scratched up. I guess it already looks aged. Again, the main prohibitive factor is the price increase. And how much is it now? The one that is on Chanel.com, there is a large 2.55 and it is priced at 19,230 Australian dollars. Yeah, I kind of look at these prices and I just sort of yeah, whatever, I don't really care. I just took a screenshot for the video and I'll add it on screen. The other issue was that there were reported quality issues as well. I feel like the 2.55, I loved it because it was the handbag that was created by, Coco Chanel herself. And I love the history around it. I also love that the bag was meant to be flattened. It's meant to be tented. My concern about the classic flap always is that the flap can tent and it doesn't look good anymore. Whereas the 2.55 or the reissue, it's meant to be tented. That's the original look anyway. So it was more worry-free in my opinion. I also realized that over time, there was a while where I liked chain straps, but I don't like them as much as leather straps anymore. I find them a little bit noisy. Sometimes my hair gets caught in them. Sometimes my skin gets caught in some of the chains. It pinches me and I'm like, oh, stop doing that. Yeah, so over time I've actually grown to prefer the Chanel strap that has the interwoven leather. So I'm like, quality issues on a classic handbag that is so expensive, plus poor customer service, potentially say that, it's your own fault that the bag is like that. It's like, yeah, no, it doesn't give me the reassurance or the confidence to go and purchase Chanel anymore. But yeah, I did save a lot of money from all those bags that I didn't buy. But tell me, what are your thoughts? Are there Chanel bags that you still want to buy, but you're not going to buy? Or are there Chanel bags that you've bought, you would still recommend that I go ahead and buy them? Yeah, leave me a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've reached this far into the video, can you please give me some dancing lady emojis in the comment section? I would really appreciate it. So should you buy this bag, this bag, this bag, or this bag? Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, hello, my name is Dani. In this bag over here, you caught one of my shorts videos where I showed what fit in this bag and you said that you were interested. I haven't done an in-depth review on this bag just yet, so I thought it was really timely